Hello folks, this is Jamil Sweffer Gunstock Reviews. We're here in Enlo Custom Guns in Phoenix, Arizona with Marty. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
And Marty finished our Remington project. Our Remington project is a Remington action. It was supposed to be a barreled action, no more. It had a Magpul, the new Magpul stock. It has a loophole scope, a Timney trigger, Surefire brake. What else? Oh, and now a new barrel.
Now a new barrel. Yeah.
So why, first of all, why didn't you use the original Remington barrel?
Well, we originally went through the process of accurizing action and setting back the Remington barrel, right? And you know, there's any number of factors that you could say you could have something good or bad about a factory barrel. The fact is that factory barrels are usually put on at a very low cost, right? So what factories will pay for them is usually a lot less than what, let's say, a custom rifle barrel. This just so happened to be kind of a takeoff barrel, and this was a takeoff barrel that I installed on a customer's rifle some years ago, right? And he got a little overzealous with cleaning, and he etched the bore. And he etched the bore, and he was worried about it, and he had me inspect it, and was like, well, okay, he asked, is it still good? I said, yeah, but he got a little bit antsy about it, and he asked me to replace the barrel. So, I mean, he paid for it, but we replaced the barrel. And comparing the two, I mean, we have this barrel floating around, and, you know, obviously he doesn't want it, and I don't need a barrel floating around, but it was in better shape than your factory Remington barrel, even etched.
And the factory Remington barrel was new out of the box, unfired.
Yes, yeah.
So this.
So the machining quality was higher. This was actually a hand lap bore, right? You know, it was a shooter, you know, and it still is, right? But you know, in the scheme of things, the customer couldn't live with, let's say, something he thought was a little out of the ordinary, and so he was more than happy to have the barrel replaced. You end up being the recipient of a practically new barrel. I don't think this thing had more than 100 rounds through it. And, you know, aside from that, you know, it has the look. It has flutes on it, which is cool. It's a stainless steel barrel. And, like I say, in better shape and quality than what some of the factory standards are, especially in the later years of Remington. So.
And you did some work on the action, right?
Yes, we trued the action, right?
Okay.
So by truing the action, the thing is that there's a reason why Remingtons are kind of a footprint for a lot of the custom actions out there, is because, one, everything's made for it. Obviously, you got the Magpul chassis and everybody else, MDT and those guys. You know, you have aftermarket bolt support. Everybody makes a trigger for the Remington 700, and of course they'll go into Defiance or Stiller or any of the other little custom action shops out there. But the thing is that Remington started that way because they were so simple to accurize. They were simple. They just needed a little bit of work, and that's why you could get a very good result for a little bit of extra cost going into them, and that's why they became so popular with police departments. The military was using them, and that type of stuff, right? You got the M40. The M40 actions were Remington 700s, and you know, it was one of those things. But yeah, you had to do a few things, like the actions wouldn't necessarily be straight with the bore threads, right? So once again, when we're talking factory Remington barrels and receivers, there could be little misalignments because of how they were made, and so we have specialized tools in the gunsmith industry to say true the face of the action so that it's square, and so that we make sure that the bolt lugs are square, because you know, we would take a valve grinding compound and ream the receiver lug so that you were making sure you were getting full contact from one lug to the other, because sometimes you might have a point or a corner due to worn out tooling. You know, that's why custom actions, let's say a Defiance, I mean, you know, you're looking at like a $1,500 action versus a, you know, a $500 Remington 700.
Yeah.
You know, by the time you put the money into them, you still don't have that much money as much money as you would like a Defiance or a Surgeon or something like that, and you can still get pretty good results out of them. But that is one of the reasons why you go and accurize actions on Remington 700s, just to true them. And of course, this one came with a factory bolt, enhanced bolt knob. But aside from that, you know, just the fact that you got a cool custom look that went with it. I mean,
Yes.
say that was
That's great.
all part of it.
Now we need to take it out to the range and shoot it. You did sight it in with some ammo I gave you, but like we need to explain to the shoot what happens when you swap ammo. Is your point of impact is going to change dramatically.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're talking about ammunition consistency, if you're a hand loader, that's one thing. But if you talk to hand loaders, they're not real fond on changing things up. At least they shouldn't be. Maybe they have a load they kind of play around with one weight and another, right? But let's put it in the scheme of things. Like we used to do a lot of police department guns, and the police department guns they had to be very good about note taking and going out and doing all their practice shots, right? But they also had to be very consistent on something called lot numbers. So you can there's the thing with ammunition companies is they put a lot on each box, right? Well, let's say you order a case of 500 rounds from Black Hills, right? That comes in a specific lot number. Now that lot might be, you know, 500 rounds deep. It might be 5,000 rounds deep. But if you're trying to remain consistent, your brass all came from the same lot. Your bullets all came from the same lot. All your powder came from the same lot, and so there's not this consistency error that could be in there. Even though you could have ammunition come from the same manufacturer, or even like say your brass comes from the same manufacturer, if it's not all produced in the same lot, there could be variances, and you'll spot a difference. Well, I think whatever ammunition you gave me. We had I don't recall there were multiple bullets shooting 168 grain Sierra Match Kings.
Yeah, Match Kings and Game Kings.
Okay, Game Kings, and yes, they definitely have different points of impact. Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't happen to have a whole case of ammo. I have like 2 or 3 boxes of this, 2 or 3 boxes of that.
Yes.
So I wanted to hit in the, you know, instead of minute of angle, minute of bad guy.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had a conversation once with a police department where they were having some consistency issues, and I said something about lot numbers. I asked them, are you guys shooting all ammunition out of the same lot? And they looked at me like I had spuds growing out of my ears. They had no idea what I was talking about, and we had to have a little conversation about it because. Yes, especially for a PD, like if they're doing a shooting like a sniper shooting a bad guy, right? They want to know that consistency was there. Well, they kept doing 2 things wrong. One, they kept changing their setup and trying to resight in and hope it would all come back, right? So, and one of the things we had to tell them was set it up and leave it that way, and then maintain your consistency, because the more you're changing things up, yes, the more you're going to watch stuff impact and change, right? And so accuracy is all about consistency and making sure that the bullet that you shoot now does the exact same thing the one did before, right? And so when you change something, yes, you will have a shift here or a shift here. And even though you might see consistency, right? Yeah, you'll see consistency with one box and you'll see consistency with another, right? But you know, your goal is that yes, you're going to get a swath of ammunition and make sure that it's consistent before you do any sort of big changes, right? Or at least you have kind of a trusted brand you go to type of thing. But yeah, like I say, as far as that barrel went, I mean, yeah, it was in better shape than the factory Remington. And not to say the factory Remingtons are bad; they shoot just fine. But it was more like it was in better shape and probably a better deal for everybody. So.
Okay, well, cool. Thank you very much, Marty. Guys, we're going to take this to the range and show you. But again, like always, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And please remain healthy, stay safe, and definitely have fun at the range.